What we're going to do here today is a pretty simple sequence of yoga poses that are primarily aimed at creating more tone, a little bit more strength and stability throughout your entire body. One of the added benefits to doing all that would be, let's say, creating a little bit more mental clarity or a little bit less fluctuations of the mind. So that's the yoga practice. What I have over here, though, is a bunch of props. I have a stack of blankets, have a block, I have a strap. If you happen to have any of these things, go ahead and grab those up now, and then let's come back over and meet up on your mat. Okay, let's start in a standing position. So stand with your feet hip width apart. First pose is going to be mountain pose, the most basic of standing poses. So stand with your feet about hip width apart or sitting bone distance apart. Traditionally, it's done with your feet all the way together, the big toes all the way together, but feel which one works best for you at this point. So if you want to bring the inner borders of your big toes together, heels slightly apart, you can choose to do that version. If your hips happen to be a little bit wider, then you might choose to not do that version. You might take your feet apart. There's many reasons to take your feet apart. But do your best to parallel your feet. Dig down through your heels and then pull the muscles of your legs up. Then once you get the engagement, then lift your side waist. Lift the back of your head up towards the roof. Allow your shoulders to relax down your back and then straighten your arms. Your hands, go ahead and turn them to face your outer thighs, your outer hips. And it's a fairly active pose, so stay fairly active here and gaze straight ahead. So create a little bit more of that energetic action throughout the body, and a little bit more tone throughout the body. And just feel how your breath kind of changes shape once you kick up all that engagement. So take a couple more breaths here. The kneecaps are going to try to drop, so you might have to pick them up again. Your gaze is going to try to wander around the room. Set it at one point and stay focused. Then relax. Now interlace your fingers, stretch your arms forward. Engage your legs again like you just had for mountain pose, and then stretch your arms up overhead. So keep your legs, keep the engagement just like you had in your legs there. Dig down through your heels. Pull your kneecaps up, firm all the muscles around your thighs in towards the bones. Gaze straight ahead again. Now release your arms. Interlace your fingers the other way. So other index finger on top. Stretch your arms forward, stretch your arms up overhead. Create mountain pose in the rest of the pose as best you can. So dig down through your heels. Pull your kneecaps up. Lift your side waist up. Gaze straight ahead. Okay, release your arms. Stand in Tadasana again. So fire up your legs again. Reach your arms back. Now from here, bend your elbows. Bring your right forearm to your back. Bring your left forearm to your right forearm. Grab your forearms. Now this is a modification of a reverse prayer position. Now, if you can actually bring your palms together with your fingertips up, go for it, but just keep the chest open. If that's too much on your shoulders, just do the modification and dig down through your heels, open your chest from side to side. Gaze straight ahead. All right, release your arms. Reach your arms back again. So second side. So feel how open your chest is when you reach your arms back. All right, so roll the upper arms from inside to outside. And then bend your left elbow. Place the forearm on your back. Bend your right elbow. Place your right forearm on your left forearm. Then grab your forearms. Or take your palms together. Do a reverse prayer. When I say reverse prayer, I just mean creating a prayer position between the two hands behind your back. So fingers facing up. Fingers facing down works as well. That could work as well. Just keep your chest open. Dig through your heels. Stand like you're standing in Tadasana, gaze forward. Release your arms. Let's come into down dog briefly. Place your hands outer shoulder width apart. Step your feet back towards the back edge of your mat and release your head and neck down. Step your left foot forward between your hands. Turn to the right. Do a standing straddle fold. So pivot on both your feet so your toes are facing the long edge of your mat, and then fold forward in between your legs. Step your hands in between your feet. Release your head to or towards the floor. Lift halfway up, grab onto your hips, and then stand all the way up. Pause here, stretch your arms wide. So take your arms out to the sides, hands about in line with your shoulders, and now line up your ankles pretty much in line with your hands. For some of you guys, that is going to be too much or too wide of a stance, and if that's the case, then just don't go as wide. Just go a little bit narrower than that. But do your best to find your widest stance, okay, that you can safely work in, as we're going to do standing poses pretty much from this orientation here, okay? Now grab your hips, step or jump your feet into the middle of your mat, come back to mountain pose, Tadasana. Now, I'm going to use a block for some of these standing poses. If you have a block, place it behind you on the right hand side. And then return to the center of your mat in that mountain pose position. Stretch your arms wide, and then step or jump your feet underneath your hands. If you didn't quite make it there, go ahead and readjust and stretch out your stance. Turn your right foot out about 90 degrees. Turn your left foot in slightly. Look to the right, stretch through your legs. Now triangle pose. Your next exhale, lean to the right, reach. Reach, 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 reach. Keep hinging at your hips, and then bring your right hand down, either to the floor or your block, and reach your left arm up. Gaze straight ahead, or start to take your gaze up towards the roof. Push through your feet like you did in mountain pose. Firm your legs up like you did in mountain pose. And then pull through the crown of your head like you did in mountain pose. Look down. Stand up, bring your block with you if you have it, parallel your feet, and then place the block on the other side. Stretch your arms out. Turn your left foot out about 90 degrees. Rotate your right foot and thigh slightly in, look to the left. Push down through your feet, stretch your legs, lift your chest. Exhale into it, lean to your left, so second side. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Bring your left hand down. Stretch your right arm up. Push through your feet again, and firm up your legs again. Gaze forward or take your gaze up. And once you find that gazing point, don't let your eyes bounce around the room. So drive through your feet, drive through your bottom hand, firm your legs up. And once you find your gazing point, steady it out. Keep it there. And just hear your breath. Look down. Stand up, parallel your feet. Place the block on the right hand side. Stretch your arms out. Turn your right foot out about 90 degrees, left foot in slightly. And then this time, bend your right knee till your right knee is over your right ankle. All right, so starting in a warrior two position, but for the side angle position. Look to the right, exhale into it, lean to the right, reach, bring your right hand down outside your foot, use the block if needed, and then stretch your left arm over your ear. So if the floor is too low, or even if your block is too low, you can always take that bottom hand higher. Your elbow can be up on your thigh. If you had a chair or a ledge to place your right hand on, those are all fair game. Then once you have everything in place, gaze forward or gaze up towards the roof. Gaze down, stand up, bring your block with you, parallel your feet. Place your block on the left-hand side. Reach your arms out in a T shape. Rotate your left foot and thigh out about 90 degrees. Bend your right knee till your knee is pretty much over your ankle. Lean to your left, reach, 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 reach. Then bring your left hand down. Then swing your right arm over your ear with your palm facing the floor. Gaze forward. Or rotate and gaze up. Stay with the intensity if you're feeling intensity. Stay with the demand, but stay calm, stay steady. Look down. Stand up, parallel your feet. Step or jump your feet into the center of your mat. Come back to mountain pose. Place the block off to the right. Take a few breaths in mountain pose. Dig through your heels. Gaze straight ahead. Let that, there's going to be a little bit of fluctuation. Your eyes are going to want to bounce around the room. Gaze straight ahead. Don't fix your shirt. Okay, the next one is going to be a warrior one position. Step or jump your feet wide, just a little bit narrower than the last two standing poses, just a slightly narrower stance. Reach your arms out to the sides and rotate your palms up. Then from here, stretch your arms up overhead with your hands shoulder width apart. Now rotate your right foot out 90 degrees. Rotate your back foot and thigh in about 80 degrees, 70 to 80 degrees. So now you're facing your right foot. All right, and then from here, push through your feet, stretch through your legs. Lift your side waist a bit higher. In fact, let's do it this way. Step your right foot out to the right, about a foot length. And then rotate your back foot and thigh in more. Now push through your feet again. Stretch up like you did in those earlier poses. Maintain that lift as you bend your right knee until it's over the ankle for Warrior One variation. Gaze forward. Or take your gaze up and touch your palms together. Stay with it. Take your palms hip or shoulder width apart, gaze forward, straighten both your legs, parallel your feet, and grab your hips. Pause. Take a couple breaths. Second side, reach your arms out. Rotate your palms up towards the roof. Stretch your arms up overhead and then turn to the left. So rotate your left foot and thigh out 90 degrees. Rotate your back foot and thigh in about 70 or 80 degrees. Now step your left foot out to the left, maybe about a foot's width. Now push down through your feet. Stretch down through your feet like you did in mountain pose. Lift your sideways, stretch your arms up. Now keep all of that lift as you bend your left knee till it's over your ankle and gaze forward. Stay in the Warrior One position or Warrior One variation. Or gaze up, possibly touch your palms together. Gaze forward, separate your palms, straighten both your legs, parallel your feet, and then step or jump your feet in. Come back into mountain pose. Again, 1 or 2 breaths here. Okay, Warrior Two. Take a wide stance. Reach your arms out to the sides. Separate your feet as wide as your hands. Rotate your right foot out about 90 degrees, left foot slightly in. Bend your right knee till it's over the ankle. Now gaze to the right. Warrior Two. Still push through your feet and find that lift through, let's say, the center of your body like you had in mountain pose. So even though you're descending your hips, you're stretching your feet, your legs apart, still find that lift up through your chest. Find that lift up through the crown of your head. Keep your gaze steady. One more breath. Straighten both your legs and parallel your feet. Grab onto your hips. Just dig down through your heels, lift your side waist up. Take a breath. It's already starting to happen. Whatever that is. Stretch your arms out. Turn your left foot out 90 degrees. Bend your left knee. Come down into Warrior Two. Look to the left. So once you situate your pose, steady out your gaze. Go ahead and look to the left and stay steady there. But the actions have to keep being refreshed. So push through your feet again. Stretch through your legs, lift your side waist up, stretch through your hands. Then just let your breath breathe itself. There's always going to be some sort of movement, some sort of shaking, or a feeling of things not being stable. You got to just get behind all that. Or in between all that. Straighten your legs, parallel your feet. Step or jump your feet into the center. Return to mountain pose. Couple breaths here. Feel your breath. Keep your gaze steady. Try not to fidget too much. Okay, take a wide stance. Next one, Padangustasana. Some people call it pyramid pose. We'll go with that today. Widen your stance like you had for Warrior One. Rotate your right foot and thigh out like you had for Warrior One. Rotate your back foot and thigh in like you had for Warrior One. And then step your right foot to the right about a foot's width. Now reach your arms back. Bend your right elbow. Bend your left elbow. Bring your palms together in a prayer position. Unless that doesn't work, then go ahead and grab your forearms, lift and open your chest here. Then exhale into it, hinge forward. And then at the very last moment, go ahead and round your back, release your neck. If your hands behind the back is just too much of a balancing pose for you, or it's unsafe, then bring your hands down to the floor and bend your front knee if you need to relieve the stress of the pose. But if you can keep your legs straight and hands behind your back, let's do it that way. You'll have to work for more balance in that version. Push through your left heel, stand up. Parallel your feet, and then let's go to the second side. So turn 180 degrees to go for the second side. Step your left foot out to the left about a foot's width. Push through your feet, stretch through your legs like mountain pose. Lift your chest up. Now exhale into it, fold over your left leg, round your back, and then make the choice. Do you need your hands down for safety, or are you bringing your hands down just because it's easier? Both of them are fine. I'm not judging. But just know why you're doing it. One of the benefits I see from having your hands off the floor, if your body is safe in that position, is that it's more demanding. So it does require a little bit more of your effort, a little bit more of your awareness. But if it's unsafe, it's unsafe. Stand up, parallel your feet, step or jump your feet into the center of your mountain pose again, release your arms. If you can start to bring your feet closer together in your mountain pose, then start to bring them in. This version of mountain pose has a little bit more of a balancing element than if you were to separate your feet a little bit wider. And again, that'll just ask a little bit more of you. All right, standing wide-legged straddle fold. So take a wide stance on your mat. wider than we had before. Grab onto your hips, dig down through your heels and lift your chest up. Look up. Exhale, fold forward, bring your hands to the floor, and then lift partway up, look forward. Again, exhale, step your hands in between your feet and bring your head to the floor if you can, or head towards the floor if you can't. Lift part way up, look forward. Grab your hips, stand up. Step your feet to about hip width apart this time. Grab your hips again. Dig down through your heels, lift your chest up, look up. Padangustasana, fold forward, grab your big toes. So it's also known as big toe pose. Lift part way up, look forward. Fold forward as you exhale. Bring your head to the floor in between your feet. Just kidding. Unless you can actually do it, then do it. But go in that direction. It's more of a abdomen and thighs, squeeze them together, meaning let them press together. Then release the back of your neck. As you gaze straight back and breathe softly. Okay, lift part way up, look forward. Grab your hips, stand all the way up. Release your hips. Take a breath here. Grab your hips again, dig through your heels, lift your chest up. Padangustasana, fold forward as you exhale. Put your hastas, which are your hands, underneath your padas, which are your feet. Lift heart way up, look forward. And then exhale, fold forward, put your head on the floor. Again, that's probably not possible today. Or any day. It doesn't matter if it's ever possible, but just work in a direction. Gaze straight back. Breathe softly. Let your breath just do what it does. Lift part way up, look forward. Grab your hips, stand all the way up. Release your hips. Take a breath or two here. Okay, downward facing dog again. So place your hands on the mat about outer shoulder width apart. Step your feet towards the back edge of your mat, about sitting bone distance apart, or as wide as your hands. Push the inner edges of your hands down and forward. Push the front of your thighs more towards the outer thighs, up and back. Then with your toe mounds, dig them down into the floor and then pull your toe mounds back as well. Release your neck. Okay, pull forward to plank pose and then lower down to your chest. Reach your arms back. Point your toes. Turn your palms so your palms are on the floor And lift your shoulders up, lift your chest up, look slightly forward. So gaze down the bridge of your nose. Lift your feet up. Lift your hands up so they're in line with your shoulders. Locust pose. Lower all the way down, rest. So when we do these poses, obviously some are going to be more demanding than others. This locust pose, from my experience, is pretty demanding for not much range of motion. That's just the nature of the pose for most of us. So let's set this up again. Reach back. Place your palms on the floor. Lift your shoulders, lift your chest, look slightly forward. Then stretch your legs, lift your feet. Lift your hands as high as your shoulders and gaze steadily somewhere. And I add that last little piece because what will typically happen is that you're going to wonder when you're going to get out of this position. It's pretty common. I know that's how I react to it or respond to it. You're just wondering the whole time, when is this over? One more inhale. Come on down. Relax. It's over. All right, set that same pose up again. Reach back. Lift your shoulders, lift your chest, look forward. Lift your feet, lift your hands. Stay here. Or bow pose. Bend both your knees, grab your ankles or feet, and then kick back and kick up. Again, stay steady with your gaze. Your breath is going to change shape on you. That's just part of these poses. It's going to go a little bit faster. The out breaths is going to be a little bit faster. Go back to locust, then lower all the way down. Couple resting breaths. Feel how the breath swells back in. Feel how your mind might have already started to become a little bit more calm and a little bit more less sporadic. Let's do that pose again. Reach your arms back. Those of you that are doing locust, you're going to stay with locust for one more time. Lucky you. Lift up into locust. Then bow posers, bend your knees, grab your ankles or feet, and then kick back and kick up. Keep your gaze steady. Just let things be how they are. Try not to change the situation too much. Go to locust, then lower all the way down and rest. Okay, come up to hands and knees. Go back to down dog. All right, couple more back bends. From here, rock forward to plank. Keep your toes tucked under as they are for this next pose of up dog. So from here, just lower your hips in between your your wrists, your hands, as best you can. But then firm your thighs up away from the floor. Push your hands into the floor, lift your chest, gaze forward. Try to bring the back bend into your upper back by engaging more of the muscles that line the middle and upper back. So draw your shoulders slightly back. Pull back to down dog. One more time. Rock forward to plank. This time, keep the toes tucked or untuck them, meaning roll to the tops of your feet. And then lower your hips in between your hands. Lift your chest. Come into up dog. Push through your hands. Firm up through your thighs. Lift your chest. Down dog. Come through to your seat. Lie down on your back. Set up for bridge. I think we're all familiar with our contemporary version of bridge. Now lift up into bridge. Grab your mat. Pull your hands away from each other and then walk your shoulders underneath you. Lift your chest. Push the backs of your arms down. Push the backs of your shoulders down. Push through your heels and lift your sacrum, your tailbone up away from the floor. Lower down, straighten your legs, relax. Bend your knees, set up for bridge again. Lift your hips up, come up into bridge. Grab your mat, pull on your mat. Pull your hands away from each other, walk your shoulders underneath you. Again, push the backs of your arms down, push the backs of your shoulders down. Push your heels down, your feet down, and lift your buttocks up, mainly from your sacrum region, sacrum, tailbone, buttocks. Lower down, straighten your legs, and rest. Okay, now this next pose is going to be shoulder stand. If you don't do shoulder stand for any reason, for whatever reason, put your legs up the wall. So turn so your buttocks are facing the wall and stretch your legs up the wall with your hips elevated or not. If that's too much for you, then you can always slide the bottoms of your feet together, take the knees apart, and do reclined bound angle pose as an alternative to either one of those. But if you're like me, if you like to get up into shoulder stand, let's get up into shoulder stand now. So set yourself up. if your eyes naturally close, then just go with it. If you're in one of these other poses and your eyes are still open, find a soft gazing point for them. Once you have found that gazing point, then you kind of just got to let it soften. You're not like laser focusing your eyes on any small detail. In fact, let your eyes become a little bit, or your vision a little bit more blurry, so whatever's going on outside is less interesting. And just start to bring more of your awareness towards the sensations of being in your body. Just pay attention to your breath. You don't need to change it, just notice it. Pay attention to the temperature of your breath or the temperature of your body. Pay attention to what your mind naturally does whenever you're just, let's say, staying in one position. All right, whatever pose you're in, let's start to come out of it. So if you're in shoulder stand, come down into plow. If you're in one of the other poses, just roll to one side and take a few breaths there. Okay. Roll to one side and sit up. Let's sit up for corpse pose. Lie down with your feet a little bit wider than your hips. Walk your shoulders underneath you so your chest is a little bit more lifted, a little more lifted. Rotate your palms up. Pick your head up off the floor. Tuck your chin in towards your chest. Lengthen the back of your neck. And then place your head back down, but make sure that the natural curve of your cervical spine is still there. Then relax.